The member for Gilmore has the call. The member for Gilmore
Thank
has
you,
the call.
Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Treasurer. How is the government ensuring that companies operating in Australia pay their fair share of tax? Will the Treasurer update the House on the new requirements on foreign investment that will ensure foreign companies investing in Australia pay all their taxes?
Before I call the Treasurer, the member for Charlton is warned. The Treasurer has the call.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member for Gilmore for her question. When it comes to ensuring multinationals pay all the tax they should be paying in Australia, Mr. Speaker, you've got to use every single lever that you have available to you. Every single opportunity that the government has to ensure that multinationals pay their fair share of tax in this country has to be deployed. And that's why today, Mr. Speaker, I have put in place a new condition that will be placed on all foreign investment approvals in this country, that they must pay their tax here on what they earn in Australia, Mr. Speaker. That requires compliance with Australian law. It requires compliance with Australian Tax Office directions to provide information in relation to their investment, to advise the ATO if investors enter into any transactions with non-residents to which transfer pricing or anti-avoidance measures of Australian tax law may potentially apply. Amongst many of these new controls, Mr. Speaker, there is also that additional conditions may also be applied where a significant tax risk is identified in a particular case. Now, these may include requiring the investor to enter into advanced pricing arrangements with or to seek rulings from the ATO or comply with other directions, Mr. Speaker, the ATO may apply to their specific circumstances. A breach of these conditions, Mr. Speaker, a breach of the conditions of the investor who would have been given a foreign investment approval, if they fail to meet those conditions, they will be faced, Mr. Speaker, with divestment of that asset, divestment of that investment, Mr. Speaker. Now, this is a serious lever that this government has chosen to apply in these cases. It wasn't one that those opposite used to apply, Mr. Speaker. In the 6 years they had to address multinational tax avoidance, what did they do, Mr. Speaker? They did nothing, Mr. Speaker. When this government put in place multinational anti-avoidance laws into this parliament, what did those opposite do, Mr. Speaker? They all voted against it. Every single one of them voted against laws that would ensure multinationals would pay their fair share of tax in this country. And, Mr. Speaker, digital services legislation, which we have brought into this parliament, will also ensure that multinationals pay their fair share of tax at the point of sale, Mr. Speaker. And, of course, there's the low-value threshold changes that we will also be bringing forward, Mr. Speaker. When it comes to ensuring that multinationals pay their fair share of tax, whether it's with the legislation we've introduced or whether it's the foreign investment approvals that we provide, we will ensure that the conditions are there, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that they pay that tax.